Welcome back to the XW Rustaresto episodes. This is episode 3, I believe, on the Falcon, and we are today going to try to attempt to remove this giant creased dint in this left-hand sill. Also, there's some rust repair to do here on the inner and outer. I could drill this out and replace the whole sill, but it's like $400 or $500. I'm going to try to get this out as much as I can and see how it looks first. And then if I've only got to replace a little section of rust, then sweet, I've saved some money. So if you've got something similar to like this in your car, whether it's sill or somewhere else, I'm going to go through using the hammer and dolly, slide hammer, and different techniques I've learned to get bad dents out. All right, let's get straight into it. All right, folks, the first thing I'm going to do is get my little roll-lock grinder and grind along in the groove all the way along there, where I'm going to try to weld my slide hammer attachment to pull that out. So if you haven't seen my other videos of slide hammering, then this is my hand-me-down I got from my neighbour. I haven't got all the parts, but I've made my own sort of attachments for different types of dents to pull. This one here is just a flat piece. I weld along a couple of points along that groove and just slide hammer the shit out of it all the way along. I'll try not to break off the welds because it'll leave a big hole, but it's better than having a massive dent. I can fill up the hole later with weld. So I'm going to try to pull that out and work my way along this dent and see if we can get this crease on the opposite side. So I can't get to it on the inside, so which is all blocked off, so let's give that a go. Let's give this a go. Pull some tension on this thing. Alright, that works pretty good. See, that one's a bit just too far, but that's okay. I don't really want to pull too far here because this side's in still, so I can just rock this generally to snap them off. Alright, left 2 holes, that's alright. So we'll just rinse and repeat that process all the way along. Hopefully the transformation happen in real time, in quick time. Well, I mean, it's so much better, but yeah. I'm going to try to mock up some replacement pieces from about here through to maybe there, because I'm looking at the back side, it's got some rust in it too. So I've got to drill out that and then yeah, clean out the back side of inner rust. I've got the English wheel that I made. It's going to be pretty much the go-to for this. I know some people make like a bar and they clamp the sheet of metal to it and they roll it around the bar. That could work as well. But I'm going to give the English wheel a go first and yeah, see how I go. I might form a little bit of steel just to this here, just so I can have that template. So I can because it's in the other shed, instead of going backwards and forwards, I can form it to the other one, come back and see how I go. So let's do that together. Because I don't think that's savable. I didn't think it was savable in the beginning, but because all that rustle's in there and this massive crease I can't get out, I could cut out that and patch it, but it's just hard to get those dents in outwards without welding all the way along. So we're going to just replace it, which is pretty much the right decision anyway. I just wanted to give that a go and show you guys what a little slide hammer can do. All right, let's get this panel sorted. This is my home built English wheel, made from caster wheels from trolleys. It works pretty good. I'm still learning how to use it. And this is the other shed, K35 CA18D T-Turbo. That's my 1942 Ford jail bar with a 5.0 EFI engine in it. Blah, blah, blah. 440 big block, waiting for a gearbox. 360 Dodge seized. Anyway, watch me try to form this on this. Let's do it. Well, I did have you on time lapse, but I must have not pressed a button, or this new camera may have not worked. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, I just rolled that for about 20 minutes and it's got shape, but the bottom wheel I've got, it's not, the curvature's not sharp enough to get the profile I need on it. So this is the mock-up piece. That's somewhat what I need to go to. And you can see the top section's all right. See that the curvature is pretty good there, but I've got this section down here that I really need to get that curvature curved around. So I'm going to try to do something different. Maybe find a round bar. I can clamp a piece of steel on it or something, but let's figure that out together. Okie dokie, so I just cut them in half. I'm just going to give it a wing. Worst case, I can just spend the $450 on a new piece, but we'll give it a go. For the home DIYs out there, let's get it done. Now, let's see if we can do this. Now we want that to go that way. Double check. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, that's definitely not enough. It needs to bend a lot more than that, doesn't it? Oh, good. Well, I've made a bush mechanic sort of style bender here with some dodgy clamps. Let's just go over and test it. Alright, so I've got too steep of a curve there. Alright, it's that section there, pretty much where I bend it with that rod. I need to flatten that out a little bit. Pretty well. It's pretty close. It's because this bottom lip's all bent out. Yeah, I'm getting pretty close. So I'm going to keep tinkering with these two and see if I can get them somewhat usable. If not, then we're going to leave this and order a whole new piece. But for now, I'll keep trying to be a stingy person and fix it. What I've done is just cut out this section here where I'm going to test fit this panel I made up. I've just gone through with the die grinder and die grind out the spot welds. Now I'm going to use the air chisel with hearing protection because it's super loud, and then split that bottom section from the body, so I should be able to cut along those welds, and this is pretty sharp. Hopefully it does it somewhat clean. So that's all I do to split spot welds. I normally use a drill bit, like a spot weld drill bit, but these ones are actually pretty big. They're like a bit smaller than a 5-cent coin, so I actually use a die grinder and see how well it works. It's pretty bloody good. It's got a, like, this one here is actually dented, but if I could just, when I weld it in, I'll just push it in a little bit. That's pretty bloody good. I'm actually impressed with this. I didn't think it would work that good. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And I've just noticed I've got a fair bit of rust along the back here, so that inner needs to be repaired before I can put this on. So this is going to go on hold, and then I'm going to move on to this part of the rust section. And that's the beauty of doing rust repairs. You just don't know when it's going to end. It's like a little game, cat and mouse. Anyway, I've got a torch in there and see if there's any other rust I've got to take care of. The front looks okay. It's just that middle section. That's all right, it's just a straight, actually. It might be a pain in the ass to do this, because that's where the floor rails weld onto as well. Sweet. It's all right, we can do it. We can do it. Hey, that's pretty good. Custom made panel. Ta-da! I mean, this is not real good to go off. It's just not even properly shaped, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I might just see how much a replacement sill costs. I'm pretty sure it's $450 plus postage, so I'll have a look again. But the rest of it's pretty good. Anyway, I'm going to have a beer. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Day 2, I believe, on episode 3 of XW Rust to Resto. I've got a nice good spotlight set up because it was getting pretty dark with all this rain, and I've only got 2 lights in the shed. We've got the rust cut out on the inner sill that we showed yesterday. If you can see it or not, I'm not sure in the light yesterday afternoon, but that's how much was rusted. I cut that out, and I've just ripped through the insides here, but I can actually weld from inside onto the new piece, which is fine. I could probably drill that out too. That one snapped off, I can just weld down there. But this is where we're up to. We've got the Furtan rust converter on everything. It's done a really good job. I didn't wipe it off because I sprayed it on and walked out pretty much. But if you can get to it, I'd try to use wax and grease remover. Wipe it all off before you paint it, just to get rid of this powdery, neutralized rust sort of crap. So that's my opinion on that. I'm just going to wipe that down with wax and grease and paint all in here with just Rust Kill Gloss Black. It seems to be pretty good. It can go straight to metal and stuff. There's no requirements for primer on that. So it's just a good preventative for inside my old shitty sill. So today we're going to get stuck into this. We've got the replacement piece here of the sill that we made yesterday, ready to go in. I know I said at the start is don't pick on a hard piece of rust repair early on. I did it. I should have, in hindsight, left this one, but I wanted to show you guys something that you can sink your teeth into, It's not just like, oh yeah, another bit of rust repair. It's going to be a lot of that, but at least this one is very unique and different, so I'm hoping you appreciate this. It's got to be done anyway, so it doesn't matter. Alright, we just put some wax and grease remover on here. Just get rid of that powdery goodness. We'll wipe this off. This is a bit thicker, this inner. It's normally a gauge thicker than normal. But I normally like welding in really thick steel, so I've got some out here in the rain. First of all, do the length, right? Roughly mark the top. Do an imaginary line between them. Go cut that off. Pretty damn close. Alright, I'm going to put my earplugs in, grind that down, and then I'm going to clean this up with the sander, clean up the edges, clean up these edges, weld the whole thing in. This one's been semi-structural. It won't warp as easy as the outside sheeting, so you can go a bit harder and faster. Still be careful of and mindful of warpage. Alright, so that's been welded in. I welded up a few little spot holes at the top as well, and I painted it with the gloss Rust Kill Black. So I'm again leaving this proud because it's obviously hidden. I want as much material there as possible. I'm not going to send sparks down either side of my sill for no reason. There's no reason for me to grind that down. I've just ground down about 1 inch up from the bottom, just so I can have a flat surface for the return lip on the replacement panel. And I painted all the way along there, even though it's going to be underneath the lip, thinking you want to make it so you can weld to it. Don't worry about it, because when you drill your holes through the replacement piece, you'll have pretty much a little bit of black section that's painted, and I'd rather paint the lip that's going to be welded, and at worst case just get the spot weld drill bit and just clean off that paint in each one of those spot holes where I'm welding, so it's a clean surface. It will burn back a little bit, but you've got way more protection than you would if you didn't paint that. It's just a lip that's raw steel. So now we're going to try to fit this rust repair panel and see how we go. I'm going to paint the back of that with etch primer and then paint, so let that sit dry so it's covered, because we don't want it to rust again later down the track. Alright, so we got that all done, this prepped, painted. So I'm just going to tack the bottom here, move these out of the way, clean up this little bit with the wire wheel, and then I can hammer that up so it meets that. Basically I'm just going to be shaping this as I go, so I can pull it out or push it in at the bottom, make sure it's flush as I weld up. So I'm just going to weld all the way up here as I go, so it's flush to this panel. Well, there you have it. That is the handmade sill rust repair piece that yours truly slapped together in his shed on a rainy Monday morning and Sunday afternoon. And I must say, it does look pretty good. The profile fits pretty good on this side. Like, it came up pretty nice. But remember that I'm already welding to a dodgy, dinted profile. Like, look, this is what I'm thinking. The time it took me to make that rust repair section, fine if that was all I was doing. But since it's pretty much 80% of the sill is buggered, I am actually thinking of still now to buy a rust repair piece, cut all that out and do it properly. Purely because the time versus cost for the rust repair, I've put too much time into this to make it viable, if that makes sense. Like for me to do a whole nother section, and I've still got to get that profile right on the other piece, do a whole nother section, and then still deal with that rust on the end and hammer and dollying all that out, even if I can. I don't want to have a lot of bog in this car, so at the moment this is not going to be viable to continue. But I did learn how to make one of these up. It's pretty cool. If anything, if I was doing a rust repair, 600 mil or less, I think, yeah, 100% that's viable to do. I think it's a good way to do it. Hopefully you guys only have a small section to do and you can just do what I did. But for a full sill, I'd recommend just going straight ahead and biting the bullet. I don't know how much they are, so either $200 each or $400 for the pair, or $400 each, I'm not sure, but it's around that mark. So hopefully you learnt something, and I definitely learnt something. At the end of the day, it's still pretty good. If you're doing a small section, 100% it's viable. It's pretty cool. I'll just go cut that bottom lip off there, but for me now, I've got to re-drill all those spot welds out, and yeah, if I'm going ahead, that's probably going to be the next video if I get it delivered in time. So if you want to learn how to do a full replacement piece, spitting everywhere, stay tuned. I'll be filming the membership videos too for YouTube, so if you're keen, check that out. And I've actually, if you're this far in, I've announced that I've actually gone live with my membership. So tier 1's the generic membership options. Tier 2 is going to be the private community chat for all of us, yourself, and whoever wants to join on the Facebook page. It's going to be a private group chat for basically ask how-to questions, any little questions that you normally get ridiculed for asking on the normal channels and the advice pages on Facebook. It's going to be a safe place for anyone that wants to do any restos, and yeah, myself or other members can answer if they know the answer to the question. So check it out. Tier 3 is going to be the tutorials with Twisty. and that's going to be in-depth how to pretty much start from finish the restoration process. But I'm still recording them in the background in between, in between these videos. I'm recording in-depth how to, so I can do less talking on this channel and more talking on the membership channel. If you made it through all this talking, you're bloody awesome. Have an awesome weekend, and I appreciate you watching along. And yeah, till next time, Twisties out. Have a good one.